We are exactly 1 week away from the first game of the 2024 season for the Miami Dolphins against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I thought it would be a fun experiment to do one last final record prediction for the Miami Dolphins for the season. It's a very important season for Miami as we need to see Tua and Mike McDaniel finally take that next step as a quarterback head coach duo to give us fans some confidence, and I'm going game by game, giving you what my thoughts are on the record for the Dolphins. And I also want you to like this video, not only to get the like number up, which is always nice, but YouTube actually does this thing where when you like a video, they create this little tab on your personal YouTube of liked videos, and then you'd be able to go back and see which videos you've liked in the past. Well, in about 5 months from now, you can go back to your liked videos tab and check out to see how this record prediction actually fared. So hit that thumbs up icon and save this video to come back to it to either flame me or call me a sharp for getting all these picks right. All right, we'll start with a win in Week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Dolphins get out of the gates fast, as Tyler Jones likes to say at points here at Chat Sports. At home, must-win game. I also don't think the Jags are actually that good. A little bit of a down year last season. Trevor Lawrence, sure, I think he's fine. They add a couple key players, Gabe Davis, but they lost Kelvin Ridley. So, I don't know. I'm not in on Jacksonville, and with Miami starting the season at home against the Jaguars, they are just a more talented team. I believe they will get out of the gates running with a 1-0 start. The Week 2 game against Buffalo, I'm giving them a win. Now, this is going to be a tougher game, short week, in a big-time setting on Thursday Night Football against your arguably biggest opponent in your division who you need to beat. They beat them last year in Miami. Can they do it again? I say yes. I also am a little bit of a non-believer in Buffalo this season from a macro perspective, losing Stephon Diggs, losing the Gabe Davis wide receiver who I just talked about with Jacksonville, losing Trey White, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Matt Milano's out until late in the season. I just think there's so many key players that left this team or are not going to be available for the Bills, and it might take them a little bit to get their feet under them and they get really humming during the regular season. I think it could be a slow start for the Bills. They will win Week 1 because they play the Cardinals, but I believe Miami's going to start the year 2-0. I will give them a loss, though, in Week 3. Yes, they will have an extended time to prepare for the Seahawks, but I actually believe Seattle's going to get a nice little bounce-back season after making the postseason 2 years ago with Geno Smith's resurgence. I like their offense. Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith-Njigba, still got Tyler Lockett. And then with the hiring of Mike Macdonald, the old defensive coordinator in Baltimore, I think that defense is going to be vastly improved with a really good secondary, including Tyreek Hill and Devin Witherspoon. This is a really good roster, and I believe they're in for a bounce-back season, traveling across the country to the West Coast. I think the Dolphins pick up their first loss there. But I think they return home on Monday Night Football against the Titans. I know. Flashback City over here from last season with a win, though. I think 3-1 is a start where Miami fans should be happy with, and I think it's the most realistic outcome. I also think it's the outcome that's needed for the Dolphins. They need to go 3-1. I think a win against the Titans guaranteed. I don't think Tennessee's good. It's also at home. And then as long as you can go 2-1 against Jacksonville, Seattle, and Buffalo, it doesn't really matter if my picks are correct or if they go in a different order where they win, lose, win, or lost, win, win, win. It doesn't matter. As long as you're 3-1 after 4, I think you're off to a pretty good start. I'm going to give you my full record prediction as we go throughout this video, but you stop here. After 4 weeks, what is going to be your Dolphins record prediction? I want to know. Let me know in the comments section. All right, moving on to Week 5 against the Patriots in New England. I give a win. I think this one's self-explanatory. New England has a really bad offense, no offensive line, wide receivers are shaky. I will say this with this game, though. This could be an absolute trap for Miami, and the only reason why I say this is because it's going to be in New England, and I believe that this will be the first game that Drake May starts as a New England Patriot. I saw they announced Jacoby Brissett as a starter a couple of days ago. I believe with their schedule, they're going to bring him back after the month of September because they're probably going to go 1-3, 0-4 in that month, and then they'll start the rookie QB to really try to save their season. I think this could be the first time we see Drake May, the 3rd overall pick, play for the Patriots, and it might be in New England at home against Miami. that could cause a little bit of an intriguing atmosphere for the Dolphins. But I do think they still win. Then they have a bye in week 6, early bye, which absolutely stinks because with this team that's suffered so many injuries already and is going to pick up injuries along the way, you'd like it to be closer to that week 10, week 11 range, but they'll hopefully go to the bye with a 4-1 record. Where they come out in Indianapolis and they pick up a win in my book. I don't think the Colts are really that special. I'm not a believer in Anthony Richardson. Sure, they have an improved offense, a good offensive line, defense is pretty solid, but I just don't believe in A-Rich, which is the reason why I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts losing this game to the Miami Dolphins. I also think the Dolphins pick up a win against the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are not a good ball club. They're going to have a fun offense with Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Kyler Murray, but that defense is just really, really bad. Wouldn't surprise me if Miami hung 35-plus on Arizona in this game, won by double digits, couple touchdowns, and I believe this one might be the easiest game on the Dolphins' schedule at home against Arizona. So I have them going off to a 6-1 start in their first 7 games and halfway through the year in Week 8. I want to pause here and let you know how important I think this beginning is for the Dolphins. It's paramount that the Dolphins go at worst 5-2 through 8 weeks and are 6-1 at best, or maybe if you go 7-0 through their first 7 games. Why? It's because the last 9 games of the season or last 10 games of the season are a lot more difficult, including some tough road trips in cold conditions and just playing overall better competition. The schedule for Miami is backloaded, so you have to take advantage of the first 8 weeks of the season, and if you want to win double-digit games and make the playoffs, potentially win the AFC East this season, you have to be 5-2 or 6-1 through your first 7. Anything else, I'm being serious. If you're 4-3 or worse, season's probably cooked. All right, let's move over to Week 9 here in Buffalo. I think it's only fair to say the Dolphins and Bills split this season. I think that's a fair projection. And since the Dolphins play in Buffalo Week 9, shouldn't be that cold. Will still be either early November or late October. I think that's where they pick up their loss to the Bills. They go to Los Angeles in Week 10. I'm actually going to give them a win in this game because, one, the Rams home crowd isn't that great. There isn't that many Rams fans in Los Angeles. Plus, it's in a dome, which only benefits Miami, not having to travel on the road, play outside in potentially harsh conditions. I also do not like the Rams team. I think they have a fun offense with Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Kyren Williams. But their defense is nothing special to me. This could be an old-fashioned shootout on Monday Night Football, but I will give the Dolphins a slight edge in this one, and they pick up a pretty solid win on the road. Couple easy games here back-to-back. I'll just go quickly. Raiders win here, and then they play the Patriots the following week. The Raiders are a bad football team, man. They are not good. They are going to struggle to score 14 points every single week, even with Devontae Adams. No. And I also mentioned to play the Patriots again. This one at home in Week 12. Even with Drake May starting at this point, it probably doesn't matter unless Drake May becomes the second becoming of Tom Brady or something like that. Patriots traveling into Miami late in the season, that usually never works out for them. I'll give the Dolphins an easy win here and rattling off 3 straight. Make sure you are representing the Dolphins on every single game day with a Dolphins jersey. Get whatever jersey you want. Jaylen Waddle, Jalen Ramsey, Tyreek Hill, Tua, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. It does not matter. Any size, any color, any player. Get your jerseys right now at chatsports.com/Dolphins jersey. That link will be in the description and comments of today's video. Make sure you have your game day attire. All right, Thanksgiving. It's kind of weird that the Dolphins are playing on Thanksgiving, let alone against the Green Bay Packers. It is going to be a brutal game for Miami in Green Bay, cold weather, late November against a physical, good football team. I just think this is a horrific matchup for the Dolphins. If they win this game, this will tell you a lot about the Dolphins team and season, but I ultimately will give them a loss. Then they return home against the New York Jets, where they play them twice in the final 5 weeks of the year. I give them a win at home against New York. I don't think the Jets are going to be as good as people think they are. I know a lot of people actually believe they're going to win the division. I don't think so. I think Robert Saleh is a terrible coach. Aaron Rodgers is like 40 years old. I don't know if he's going to be able to return off that torn Achilles. Sure, their defense is cool, but I'm giving Miami a win against the Jets. They're certainly not going to lose both games. Maybe they win both games. Stay tuned for the final Week 18. I think they lose in Houston in Week 15. Now, this home or road advantage for Houston won't be that big. Like I said, it's a dome, so it's not going to really affect the way the Dolphins play football. I just actually think Houston's a really good team, and the Dolphins aren't going to beat every good team they play. So I think Houston is one of the teams that get them in Week 15. I would not be ashamed with this loss whatsoever. Make sure you are joining the fun this upcoming season. We are going to be live for every single Miami Dolphins football game every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and if the Dolphins end up playing on a Saturday, we'll be live too. Make sure you join us because our watch parties are absolutely amazing throughout the entire season, so hit that sub button and lock us in for a crazy NFL season. I'm going to give the Dolphins a win against San Francisco in Week 16. And if you watched our first record prediction back when the schedule was announced, back in May or something like that, I actually had the Dolphins losing this game, but with Brock Purdy looking horrible in the preseason. Brandon Ayuk's situation not being finalized, at least at this time of filming, even if he is playing in that game, I don't think it matters. I think the 49ers regress this season. They'll still be a top in the NFC, at least as a top 3-4 seed likely, but I'm not sure San Francisco will be that team that I fear on my schedule late in the season as they usually are. At home, give me a win for the Dolphins against the 49ers. I'm going to give them a loss in Cleveland. I actually am a Browns, not fan, but like a supporter. I think they're going to be good this season. They have a really good roster. Mari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, outstanding offensive line, good pass rush, good defense, like their corners. It's also going to be a cold night, and if this game stays on Sunday Night Football, which I believe it will because I think the Dolphins and Browns are both going to be competitive, fighting for a playoff spot at that point, it's going to be a cold Sunday night in January for Miami. Probably doesn't bode well, which is why I think Cleveland picks up a win at home. And unfortunately, I'm going to give the Dolphins another loss here, losing 2 or 3 of their last 5 games. This one in New York in Week 18. Although I said I don't believe in the Jets, I find it hard to believe that the Dolphins would go 5-1 in the division or split or sweep the Jets. Possible, but I'm going to give them a 4-2 record in the division. They split with the Jets, they split with the Bills, sweep the Patriots, and that's how they fare in the AFC East in 2024, according to me. Which, if you're not keeping track at home, well, I did it for you. The Dolphins ultimately go 11-6 in my record prediction. Tough finish, losing 3 of the last 5, but with that hot start and a decent little middle period of the schedule, I think 11-6 is very on the table. I actually had them going 11-6 in my first record prediction, and then I did this one completely different with different ideas and different games, and I still came out with an 11-6 record. And I believe an 11-6 record, by the way, is still going to be able to win the AFC East because I think the Bills go 10-7 at best with a little bit of regression. Same thing with the Jets. I think Jets and Bills are going to be, one of them is going to be 10-7, the other is going to be 9-8 or 8-9, and then the 11-6 record probably wins this division for Miami. So I think it's all in the Dolphins' hands, and that's my prediction. Spam it, though. Are you ready for Dolphins football? I know I am. 1 week away, we will be talking Dolphins-Jaguars. How fun is that? Type those me's if you're fired up for that game. Make sure you are subscribed because, like I said, we're live for every game, and specifically that first watch party against the Jags is going to be an absolute blast. So come join me as we will root on our Dolphins in Week 1 of the NFL season.